Is the UK government spending more on enforcing laws than on providing care and support for its citizens? This question stirs much debate, and one look at the budget allocation paints a telling picture. The UK government directs a significant chunk of its budget towards law enforcement, including policing, prisons, and various other forms of maintaining law and order. Over the years, this spending has seen a steady climb, with the trend showing no signs of slowing down. When we compare this to countries with similar economies and societal structures, the contrast is stark. While other nations are investing in social care, education and healthcare, the UK seems to be pouring more resources into enforcement. By the close of 2023, the price tag on law enforcement stood at a staggering £13.2 billion. That's a figure that speaks volumes about the priorities set by the UK government. By the end of 2023, the UK government had spent £13.2 billion on law enforcement. Now consider the amount spent on care and support for its citizens. The UK government allocates a portion of its budget each year towards healthcare, education, social services and other forms of support. But let's take a closer look. Over the years, there's been a noticeable decrease in these areas of spending. In fact, in some instances, there's been a complete stagnation. For instance, the budget for healthcare has seen a mere 1% increase over the past decade. Education spending, on the other hand, has remained flat, with no significant growth over the past 10 years. Social services have suffered a similar fate, with a decrease of 2% in the last 5 years. When compared to countries like France, Germany and Canada, who prioritize care and support, the UK falls significantly short. In contrast, the UK government spent £8.7 billion on healthcare, education and social services combined in the same year. What does this disparity in spending tell us about the UK government's priorities? The reality is it paints a picture of a government more focused on regulating and controlling its people than providing care and education. This skewed allocation of funds could potentially be undermining the quality of life and societal health in the UK. Imagine if the scales were tipped the other way. Reports show that for every pound invested in social care, there's a return of £6 in improved health and well-being. That's a six-fold impact. Now envision a society where this investment is the norm, not the exception. A society where the government's primary role is to uplift, not merely to control. Imagine how much money the government has spent on fitting speed cameras, road and other warning signs, other traffic calming methods, notices and markings, all to let the people know that if they break this law, they will be penalized financially for collecting revenue for crimes of driving a few miles over the limit or driving down a bus lane by accident, convicting motorists for petty things, all in the name of revenue generation. Our society, it seems, is in a constant cat and mouse game with the government, where they are desperate to fine, penalize, prosecute and extract funds from its people instead of providing them with the support they need. When the primary goal of the police is not to protect its people, but rather entrap and extort them. Society has big problems. They are enforcers, not care providers. If the government spent the same amount of money they have done on installing and maintaining speed cameras, road signs and smart motorways into education and healthcare, we would be in a very different situation. So encourage your local representative to advocate for a change in spending priorities. Invest more in care rather than enforcement to help make our home a safer place. That's all for today. Until next time.